So how do you build a massive movement pretty much from scratch? Today, we're going to look at the Playbook of DEVCON Philippines. They're the largest nonprofit tech community in the country. And the most incredible part, this entire nationwide network is run by volunteers. We're going to break down exactly how they pulled it off. Just look at this map for a second. This isn't a chain of corporate offices or anything like that. This is a grassroots community. From all the way up in Luzon down to Mindanao, you've got 11 active chapters that have put on over 140 events. They're reaching thousands and thousands of students, developers, and tech lovers. I mean, the scale here is just wow. And that really brings us to the big question, right? How? What is the secret sauce here? Because it's not just about passion. It's about a really smart, carefully crafted system. And we've dug through their official playbooks to put together the blueprint for you. You know, every big fire starts with a tiny little spark. For DEVCON, a new chapter doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It all begins with identifying a potential area, a place that has a growing number of IT schools and tech careers that could really use a community hub. What's so interesting here is just how structured this process is. Right from day one, an area goes from being a prospect to an interested chapter. But look at that last step on the right. The tech ecosystem canvas. That's the crucial part. Before they can even apply, these aspiring chapters have to literally map out their local landscape. It proves they actually get what their community needs. And this is where we get to the human side of things. If you know anything about team development, this is what they call the forming stage. You've got tons of enthusiasm, everyone's being super polite, but there's also this anxiety, right? People are wondering how they fit in. That whole structured application process we just saw, that's what gives them the clarity to get past the awkward phase and turn all that excitement into actual action. Okay, so the seed is planted. Awesome. But now comes the really hard part, the grind. This is where that new group has to take all that initial buzz and turn it into a community engine that can run on its own. And it's a long road with some really clear milestones. And you can see that journey right here. They level up from a recognized chapter, getting official onboarding and some seed money, all the way to a thriving one. And a thriving chapter isn't just active. They're a real force in their local area. They're hosting huge summits, getting top priority for sponsors, and even working with local government. They basically become a core part of the tech scene there. But let's be real, that growth is never a smooth ride. This phase is all about storming and norming. Teams are going to clash. They'll have conflicts over ideas or which direction to go. They absolutely have to work through those challenges, set up their processes, and find their groove. Honestly, this is the point where a volunteer group either falls apart or becomes a real team. And the hurdles they face are very, very real. I mean, do any of these sound familiar to you? Low visibility, not enough volunteers, trouble managing time, money challenges. These are the classic growing pains for pretty much any community group. But DEVCON doesn't just acknowledge them. They've got a playbook to solve them. And here it is. This is the good stuff, the practical get-it-done strategy. And notice how specific it is. It's not just get funding. It's start reaching out to sponsors 3 to 5 months before big events. It's not find volunteers. It's invest in training and give people clear roles. This isn't just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. This is engineering success. Okay, this brings us to the absolute heart of their success, the system. You just can't have dozens of volunteer groups all doing their own thing without some kind of strong central framework. This is the blueprint that lets DEVCON keep its quality high and scale up without everything descending into total chaos. Now, this rule might shock you at first, but it is pure genius. By centralizing all the money through the national office, DEVCON makes sure everything is financially transparent, they protect the whole organization from risk, and they handle all the really complicated legal and tax stuff. It is such a critical piece of this puzzle. So what it all comes down to is this really smart division of labor. The national HQ, they handle the heavy, complicated stuff, the bank accounts, the legal documents, the national brand. And what this does is it frees up the local chapters to focus on what they're amazing at, building their community, creating great content, and managing their local volunteers. It's a perfect partnership. So to make this whole system run smoothly, everybody has to be on the same page. So their playbook has a very, very clear list of don'ts for all the new officers. Let's do a quick rapid fire of a few of the big ones. First up, no signing legal agreements on your own. Think about it. A document signed by one local chapter could accidentally tie up the entire national organization in a bad deal. So, all agreements have to be checked by HQ. It protects everyone. Next, and this is a big one, stay nonpartisan. As a nonprofit that's all about empowering people through tech, taking political sides would completely wreck their mission and their credibility. This rule is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to maintain trust. And finally, a simple one that's actually vital, professionalism is key. Using official email addresses isn't just about looking professional. It's about compliance, it's about security, and it's about making sure there's a smooth handover of information when leadership eventually changes. So we've seen the how, right? The systems, the rules, the playbooks, but none of that would work for a second without the why. What is it that actually fuels this entire volunteer army? Well, it all comes down to one core philosophy. I mean, this quote from their own internal guide says it all, doesn't it? The motivation isn't about personal gain or getting clout, which they actually warn new officers about. It's about giving back. It's this deep belief that by empowering other people, you make the entire community stronger. And this right here, this captures their ultimate goal. Empowering geeks, empowering the planet. Every single workshop, every meetup, every little rule in that playbook serves this one single mission. It connects the day-to-day grind to a purpose that is so much bigger than any one person or any one chapter. So, the key takeaway here is pretty clear. Passion is the fuel, but a smart, scalable system is the engine that makes it go. DEVCON gives us this powerful blueprint for how a clear purpose, when you combine it with a really solid operational plan, can empower an army of volunteers to build a nationwide movement. It really leaves you with a question, doesn't it? What community out there is just waiting for its blueprint?